F-18 fighter jet sinks for second time. Houthi attacks raise tensions in Red Sea. The loss of an A-18E Super Hornet from the USS Harry S. Truman in April 2025 was not just a tragic accident, it served as a stark reminder of the escalating conflict in the Red Sea. Today, a U.S. Navy fighter jet crashed into the Red Sea after failing to land on the aircraft carrier USS Harry S. Truman. It was the second incident in less than 2 weeks involving a fighter jet from the same ship. The jet that crashed was an A-18E Super Hornet, a two-seat fighter worth about $67 million. The incident, which came amid ongoing Houthi missile and drone attacks, highlights the growing threat posed by the Iran-backed rebels and the precarious balance of power in the region. Chaos on the deck of the Truman. On April 28, 2025, while operating in the Red Sea as part of Operation Rough Rider, the USS Harry S. Truman encountered a coordinated attack from Houthi rebels. Multiple drones and missiles were launched, forcing the carrier to quickly execute evasive maneuvers. During the chaotic response, an F-18E Super Hornet being towed across the flight deck broke free and careened into the sea, sinking to the bottom of the Red Sea. While one sailor sustained minor injuries, the loss of the aircraft was one of the most costly single aircraft losses in recent naval history. The Navy initially classified the incident as a non-combat casualty, emphasizing the lack of direct weapons engagement. However, this explanation understates the reality. The jet was lost during a direct combat situation, highlighting the dangers facing U.S. naval forces in the increasingly volatile Red Sea. The Houthi threat, from drone strikes to carrier attacks. The Houthi rebels, armed and technologically supported by Iran, have significantly escalated their attacks. Prior to the Truman incident, they claim responsibility for downing at least 7 U.S. MQ-9 Reaper drones, demonstrating their growing ability to target high-value assets. Their attacks extend beyond drones to include commercial shipping lanes and allied naval vessels. The attack on the Truman was no random attack. It was a deliberate attempt to demonstrate their reach and ability to challenge a global superpower. Even forcing the U.S. Navy to react and sustain equipment losses was seen as a propaganda victory for the Houthis. The U.S. Navy's response was swift and decisive. Following the loss of the Super Hornet, retaliatory airstrikes were launched against identified Houthi launch sites in western Yemen. These strikes, coordinated between the Truman's Air Wing and Arleigh-Burke-class destroyers, involved jamming enemy sensors, followed by precision strikes using JDAMs, HARMs, and Tomahawk cruise missiles. The operation resulted in the destruction of several key operational sites, demonstrating the U.S. military's commitment to responding decisively to Houthi aggression. Since mid-March 2025, the U.S. has conducted more than 800 precision strikes against Houthi targets, a clear indication of an ongoing campaign to degrade their capabilities. According to a Wall Street Journal report, the plane failed to stop during the landing process because its tail hook failed to catch the arrestor cable on the carrier's deck. The arrestor failed, causing the plane to slide and crash into the sea, a defense official told the U.S. Naval Institute. Fortunately, the two jet crew members managed to eject and were immediately rescued by helicopter. The strategic importance of the Red Sea cannot be overstated. This vital maritime choke point handles about 10% of global trade, making it a vital artery for international commerce. An escalating conflict threatens to disrupt this vital trade route with significant economic consequences around the world. The incident aboard the USS Harry S. Truman underscores the growing risks in the Red Sea. The Houthis' increasingly sophisticated weaponry and coordinated attacks pose a significant threat to U.S. naval forces and international shipping. The U.S. response, while decisive, carries the risk of further involvement in Yemen's civil war and potential escalation with Iran. The world is now on a knife edge, and the future of the Red Sea remains uncertain. The question remains, will the international community adequately address the growing threat before the conflict escalates into a broader, more devastating war?